AEW Forbidden Door 2025 just went off the air, and I want to give you guys my genuine opinion on the show. Now, I genuinely enjoyed the show. Let's get that out of the way. I enjoyed the show for what it was. Now, if you guys watched my prediction video, you would probably understand why. However, on the flip side of that, I do have my criticisms and I have my praises, and I'm going to break it down in this specific video. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought, so I've posted a poll on my community tab here on the channel. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the show or not. Now, one of the big things that I really enjoyed about this show is what I typically enjoy about every single AEW pay-per-view that has ever existed. The wrestling matches are good. That's not a shocker. That should never shock you when watching this channel. Yes, my primary way of enjoying wrestling is more about the storytelling, and that seems to be the big thing. But, of course, I do like good wrestling matches. So, with that being said, as I watched AEW Forbidden Door 2025, I felt like most of the stories made sense. Most of the booking decisions made sense. But there were definitely some booking decisions I didn't like. And that's really the big thing here. When I look at the entire show in itself, when it comes to quality wrestling, I know what I'm expecting from AEW. I look at that match card beforehand and I say, hey, I'm probably going to enjoy that match. There's just certain guys out there that I watch that I know are very good, and then I tend to enjoy watching them. So, for example, Kyle Fletcher, Hiromu Takahashi, very fun match. It wasn't that long. It didn't need to be that long, but it was nice. That's just a small example because it probably wasn't the most important match on the card. But you know, I watched the show. I'm expecting good wrestling matches. I feel like I got good wrestling matches, which is why it was so easy for me to tell you guys, hey, I enjoy the show. But then there were some things on the show that I didn't like, and obviously I'll get into that. But one thing that really stood out to me about AEW Forbidden Door is the fact that this felt less like Forbidden Door. There wasn't that much big New Japan or CMLL presence on the show, but it's one of those things where the show itself, like Bozilla, representing Stardom, Persephone from CMLL, those two really shined in their Fatal 4-Way match with Alex Windsor and Mercedes Moné. So I genuinely enjoyed certain things. I would have loved to see more of a presence from New Japan and a bigger presence from CMLL, but I understand the situation with the tournaments and everything that impacts it. One of my big takeaways that I really had about Forbidden Door was that most of the booking decisions made sense. This is where I didn't like certain parts of the show. For example, I'm just going to be honest. Athena cashing in, going up against Tony Storm, losing like that, I'm not a fan of it. That was a booking decision I didn't really care for. I felt like AEW should have been a little bit less predictable and gone for a major swerve here. I personally didn't enjoy that. I thought Okada and Swerve, if you guys watched my prediction video, I thought that was a match where I was expecting Okada to win, but I was expecting that to be a better match. For some reason, something didn't click for me while watching it. But then I can get over that. What I couldn't get over, unfortunately, was Wardlow's return. Now, I predicted Wardlow's returning at Forbidden Door, but I predicted in such a different manner. Wardlow attacked Prince Nana after the match. And then he goes up the ramp, and Don Callis and the family are waiting for him, and he joins the group. I do not know how else to say this other than bullshit. It's bullshit. And I'm sorry, but this is one of those booking decisions I strongly dislike. Wardlow is a hell of a talent. He should be a singles guy. We don't need him being the big man muscle for every faction in the company. We haven't seen him in like a year, bro. He goes from Undisputed Kingdom to this. There's really no rhyme or reason for that. No explanation as to that. Now he's joining Don Callis' family, who is literally such a massive faction. But all of these guys could be quality singles guys. Josh Alexander was a new signing. He's not really getting pushed. I mean, he's taking losses. I don't really understand the idea of Wardlow joining the Don Callis family. This was a booking decision, a storytelling decision that they made where I genuinely despised it. I did not like this at all. That was very, very disgusting. I thought it was very bullshit, and I thought it was very dumb that that's literally what I was watching. My second thing that I really didn't seem to like was MJF and Hangman Page, which, by the way, in my opinion, was a very fun match to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed this match, and I expected to enjoy this match. Those are two of my favorites. Um, Bryce Remsburg is the worst referee, or Tony Khan is the worst booker here. You guys saw it with your own eyes. MJF cheats. Bryce Remsburg counts to three. They don't ring the bell, and he like falls back asleep. Mark Briscoe is trying to come down to the ring. Security stops him, and then when MJF goes to remove Hangman Page's leg from the rope, Bryce Remsburg randomly wakes up and confronts him about it. That was terrible. Literally terrible. It ruined the match. A great match. And I have no problem with Hangman Page winning, but it just deflated everything. And it didn't make sense for the referee to sit there and count to three, not ring the bell because he fell asleep right away. And then for a few minutes, while the Mark Briscoe stuff is going on, all of a sudden, when he's going to grab the leg, you could just snap out of it like nothing ever happened. I'm sorry, bro. AEW refereeing sucks. This is one of those moments that completely ruined a good match. And I thought it was the wrong idea creatively. And then the only other thing I didn't like about the show was the main event. The match is fine. The match is fine. Even for me, not being huge into the blood and guts kind of stuff, I knew what I was going to get. It was a fun match, a lot of great spots. Great. Everybody performed extremely well. My problem was not actually the match or the booking. My problem was the way they ended the show. Tony Khan thought he was Triple H doing the copyright ticker, and then, a nice little surprise to end the show after Will Ospreay just embraced the crowd. Yeah, so next thing you know, he's getting attacked by the Death Riders after the show's over to write him off. I'm sorry, maybe this is me nitpicking, but that was unnecessary. All the baby faces cleared the ring. Will Ospreay was embracing the crowd. We already know he's taking time off. You don't need to write him off in this case. They win. He's, embracing the crowd. You don't have to write him off. This was a feel-good moment for Will Ospreay, and it was a feel-good moment after a fantastic match. You didn't have to do all the extra stuff. The Death Riders are still yucky, bro. Like, they still have a stink about them I genuinely just don't like. I don't like the Death Riders. So in my opinion, you're trying to give them heat, but your job should be to send the fans home happy, and you did that with Will Ospreay. And again, he's been very vocal about his health conditions. We know he's going to have to take time off. Why not just have him embrace the crowd? Like, I don't know. Maybe somebody could offer a different logic to it, but if your job is to have the Death Riders have a little bit more heat behind them, I don't think it's necessary and I don't think it's needed. Um, but like I enjoyed the main event match. I thought it was fun. It went long, but there was a lot of great spots. But the way to end the show, you should have just made everybody happy. We already know what's going down. I personally didn't like that. And listen, I'm just being real. Like I thought all the women on tonight's show, Megan Baines and Queen Nominatas and Tekla and all these different women, like they're doing great. The tag team stuff was great, but I don't have issues with those booking decisions. I don't have issues with those matches. What I have an issue with is some of those bigger moments did not actually feel big and they did not actually make things better. And that's not a good thing. But overall, I enjoyed the show. I mean, it is what I expected. Um, I don't feel like my predictions were that far off either. So it is what it is. I want to know what you guys think. Don't forget to vote in that poll, and I'll see you guys next time.